Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Friday follow-up in that continuing journey of accountability. This morning's segment is gonna kind of drift back and forth between the journey of accountability and a follow-up that I've been hinting the past few segments. Last night, I had another bad trip to the scales, let's just say. And I had this week, or I guess over the 2-week break, because we didn't meet last week, had a 2.8 pound gain. You've heard the expression, people get on a losing streak. Well, apparently I'm on a gaining streak. I've put on, since Halloween, remember that, Halloween, I've put on just over 10 pounds. And I mentioned several times that I struggled with what I call the three major holidays: Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And it's because in my family, these three holidays were not just a simple day. It was a full-blown event. Halloween took 2 weeks to do with my folks, with carving all kinds, hundreds and hundreds of pumpkins and major displays. Thanksgiving, everybody had to be at my folks' house or it wasn't Thanksgiving. And Christmas, again, was all decked out. I mean, it just went on and on and on. And I did okay during those years. Struggled with all the temptation stuff. But the very first year in tops, which is getting on to be 20 years ago, I lost 10 pounds in the month of December to get to goal. So I know it's doable. I've been able to handle this, but for the past few years, I haven't. And I've had what I call a carb failure, because now my folks are gone. I lost my dad over 4 years ago, and my mother will be 3 years ago next week. And it's just hard to go through this time of year. And my fallback, my downfall, my kryptonite over these years has always been carbs. Now, I know there's good carbs, but I tend to find the bad carbs. And I know that to get back on a losing streak, I need to cut back on my carbs. And when I do that, and if I stay at roughly about 150 grams of carbs a day, I lose weight. I stay on that 2 pound average loss when I'm paying attention. But consequently, if I have a carb failure and I go above the recommended amount just to maintain, not gain, just to maintain, that'd be a win. I go literally off the scales. And it's just, again, I always struggle for the balance, and it's hard to maintain balance when schedules are turned upside down and everything is decorated to the hilt, and you can't find something that's been there for 11 months and now it's in a box because we have to put something else there. It's a loss of control. I know it's me. I understand that, and it's nobody else's fault, but it's just very difficult to maintain. I try, as I mentioned, after the Friday after Thanksgiving, I wanted to walk more. Well, I didn't get a chance to go out and walk the trail by the river like I had mentioned, but I do have a QB that I can pedal when I'm working at my desk. And I put 24 miles on that in the week. So I'm happy about that. I used the stairs more this week. So, I mean, I did increase my physical activity, but apparently not enough to override the bad, or like I said, the carb failure that I had. And I guess that's just the comfort that I go for. It's easy to go after those cakes and pies and biscuits and rolls, which from the other 9 months of the year, I have no problem giving up or scaling back. No problem at all. But just Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, it's just hard to do these things without my folks. And I'm not saying this to get sympathy or empathy. I just realized that that's what I'm going through. And I can only imagine what other TOPS members go through, because it doesn't matter what the root cause is when we have a carb failure or we reach for something to kind of make us feel good for the moment. And friends, it's just a moment. And then it gets worse because you say, oh, why did I do that? Well, you just got to start another day. And that's what I do. I just hang on for dear life during these 3 months, hoping that time it'll get better. I'm not the first TOPS member who goes through an emotional roller coaster, and not pretending I am the only one. I'm just saying, folks, it's real, and I get it. And, some folks would say, well, you should know better. Well, yeah, easy to say, folks, very hard to go through. I know over the past 20 years when I've had other issues, although this one seems to be really hard to go through over the past few years, is TOPS keeps me grounded. I can't imagine, I don't want to imagine where I would be, what my life would be, what kind of health conditions I would be in if I had never found TOPS. The irony of this is my father joined TOPS shortly after I did. And I got to know Dad at a different level through TOPS. So again, sometimes it's hard to go to a chapter meeting, know that Dad's not there, especially during this time of year. So, when folks struggle, it's nice to hear, yeah, you can do better. It's nice to get that comforting hug. We just got to keep on staying the course, try to remain accountable, continue on this journey to a healthier lifestyle. I know it will get better, and I know how it will get better because I'm a TOPS member. And I know I have all the support, and I want to do everything I can to support you through this time of year if you're struggling, or any time of year that you struggle. So that's all I have for today. Sometimes it's hard to talk about these things. I'm staying things in check, keeping things in check. I've said this before, I'll use humor, and looks good on the outside, but sometimes the humor on the outside is just covering the crying on the inside. So another week, see what happens. I'll be traveling to headquarters next week with the service program administrators. I'll get another boost of support. And I don't know what I'll have in store for next Friday, because I'll be flying back home. I'm sure we'll get something for you folks. And I'm going to hang in there, and I'm hoping you hang in there too. We'll see you next Friday.